The following Zoom session is being recorded and will appear later today on my YouTube channel, Math with Mayo. Therefore, when you participate in the Zoom meeting, if you do not wish for your picture or your name to be made public, please leave the video off and use an alias name. If you have questions during the meeting but do not wish to speak, email me at bmayo@ybcc.edu and I'll respond as soon as I can. All right, so today we're going to review Chapter 2 in preparation for the final exam. As I mentioned, I believe last week, tomorrow we'll take a focus on Chapter 3, and then Thursday, Chapter 4, Friday, Chapter 5. So if you have specific questions you want me to do, please email me and I'll do them. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is just go back through and do each of the chapter tests again to kind of refresh your memory. So what we've got in front of us today is the Chapter 2 test, a version of it similar to what you took. And so we'll go ahead and get started. So this is from Chapter 2 test, and this is problem number 1. It says, solve the equation and check the result. So we have 11m minus 14 equals 12m plus 16. This is a first degree equation. I want to isolate the variable. First of all, I want to isolate the variable term. So I'll subtract 12m from both sides of the equation, which gives me negative m minus 14 equals 16. Then I'll add 14 to both sides of the equation. That gives me negative m equals 30. Then I'll divide both sides by negative 1 because of the negative 1 coefficient. So m should be negative 30. So we'll put in negative 30 and see how it goes. All right. Any questions about that problem? Okay, let's take a look at problem number 2. This time thing keeps coming up. All right. It says, solve the equation. 3/8 t equals negative 3. The variable term is already isolated, so all we need to do is get rid of its coefficient. When the coefficient is a fraction, we multiply both sides of the equation by the reciprocal of that fraction. On the left side of the equation, the 8's reduced down to 1/1. The 3's reduced down to 1/1. 1 times 1/1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times t is t. On the right side, negative 3/3 is negative 1/1. Negative 1 times 8 is negative 8. So t should be negative 8. All righty. Any questions there?
Nope.
Go on to number 3. Solve the equation. If there is no solution, enter no solution. If all real numbers are solutions, enter reals. 0.4 times the quantity x minus 1,000 plus 1.1 equals 2.1 plus 0.2x. So to get rid of the decimals, I need to multiply by 10 to move the decimal point 1 place to the right. I have 4 terms up there. Each one of them has 1 decimal place to the right. So I need to multiply both sides of the equation by 10. On the left side of the equation, distributing, I get 10 times 0.4 times x minus 1,000 plus 10 times 1.1. On the right side equals 10 times 2.1 plus 10 times 0.2x. So on the left side, 10 times 0.4 would be 4, which then gives me 4x minus 4,000 plus 10 times 1.1 is 11 10 times 2.1 is 21. 10 times 0.2x is 2x. So now I've cleared the decimals. Let's see here. Combining like terms on the left, 4x minus what? 3,989. I think that's right. If you take negative 4,000 plus 11, yep, equals 21 plus 2x. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. 2x minus 3,989 equals 21. Add 3,989 to both sides. 2x equals, let's see, 3,989 plus 21 is 4010. Divide by 2x equals what? 2005. Let's see if that's correct. I don't know. Let's see, 2005. All righty. Any questions there? Nope. Okay. I'll just assume that if you have a question, you'll speak up. All right. Number 4, solve the equation. If possible, check the result. Solve the equation if possible. Check the result. If there is no solution, enter no solution. If all real numbers are solutions, enter reals. So we have 2/3 x plus 1 equals 1/2 plus x. So we have an equation containing several fractions. To clear the fractions, we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by the least common denominator of all the denominators up there. Well, we have a 3, an implied 1, a 2, and an implied 1. So the least common denominator would be what? 2 times 3 or 6. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 6. So distributing 6 times 2/3 x plus 6 times 1 equals 6 times 1/2 plus 6 times x. Going across and simplifying each expression, 6/3 is 2/1, 2 times 2x is 4x, plus 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 1/2 reduces to 3, and then plus 6x. I'll subtract 6x from both sides of the equation, giving me negative 2x plus 6 equals 3. I'll subtract 6 from both sides of the equation. Negative 2x equals negative 3. Divide both sides by negative 2, and x equals 3/2. Now, recall again, we don't want to use mixed numbers in WebAssign. So we either want to use 3/2, or in this case, since it's exactly 1.5, we could do that as well. But 3/2. Yeah. Okay. Number 5. Solve the equation if possible. If there is no solution, enter no solution. If it's all real numbers, enter all reals. Okay, so we've got 9 times the quantity x plus 7 equals 9x minus 7. On the left side of the equation, distributing, we get 9x plus 63. Subtracting 9x from both sides, we get 63 equals negative 7, which is not true. So there's no solution. So let's see here. I've got to type that in. Capital no space solution. Okay. All right. Number 6. Solve the equation if possible. No solution, right? No solution. All real numbers, right? Reals. Okay. 15 times b minus 1 plus 3 equals 3 times 5b minus 4. On the left side of the equation, distributing, we get 15b minus 15 plus 3. On the right side equals 15b minus 12. Combining like terms on the left, 15b minus 12 equals 15b minus 12. They're identical, aren't they? If I keep going, I'd get negative 12 equals negative 12. In fact, I could break it all the way down to 0 equals 0, which means that they're all real numbers are solutions, because back, let's see, let's take this statement right there. Suppose I decided to add 12 to both sides. I'd have 15b equals 15b, and then I divided by 15, I'd have b equals b. Well, if you can get to there, you can put anything in, any real number in for b on the left and on the right, and it would be true. So this is going to be reals. Yeah. Okay. Number 7. Translate the sentence into an equation. 19 is 50% of what number? Do not solve. So 19 is 50% of what number? Use x as the variable. So 19 equals 0.5x. Let's see what happens there. 19 equals 0.5x. All righty. Number 8. To buy a house, a woman was required to make a down payment of $10,800. What did the house sell for if this was 15% of the purchase price? Well, that word "this" refers to the $10,800. So this was, which is the past tense of is, 15% of the purchase price. So our equation becomes 10,800 equals 0.15x. To solve both sides, or to solve for x, we'll divide both sides by 0.15. So I've got, let's see here, $10,800 divided by 0.15, and I get 72,000. So purchase price, $72,000. Good to go on that?
That's a cheap house.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Wow. Or it's probably just the barn out back. You know, it doesn't even include the actual house. All right,
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Suppose a person's body temperature rises from 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit to a dangerous 103 degrees Fahrenheit. What is the percent increase, round to the nearest percent? Okay, so it goes from 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit to 103 degrees Fahrenheit. So the increase would be 103 minus 98.6. Okay, so I've got 103 minus 98.6. So the increase is 4.4 degrees Fahrenheit. What is the percent increase? So 4.4% Fahrenheit, excuse me, 4.4 degrees Fahrenheit equals what percent of 103 degrees Fahrenheit? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to divide both sides. It shouldn't be a decimal point there. And I hate having to go use the eraser because it takes so long. I'll do it anyway. Okay, there it is. And then we got to come back here. Okay, so 103 degrees Fahrenheit, 3 degrees Fahrenheit. Degrees Fahrenheit crosses out. Let's see here. 4.4 divided by 103 equals 0.042718447. It says round to the nearest percent. Now, this number is not a percent, it's a number. To convert it to a percent, we'd move the decimal point 2 places to the right and add a percent sign. So 4.2718447% to the nearest percent would be 4%. So let's see if that works. And it does.
Okay.
All right, number 10. After expenses of $52 were paid, a club donated $880 in proceeds from a pancake breakfast to a local health clinic. How much did the pancake breakfast gross? Okay. So they paid $52 in expenses and donated the rest, right? So we've got the expenses plus the amount they donated. So let's see, what do we get here? 880 plus 52 is $932. Oh, let's see what happens. The thing confusing about that problem is, well, what do they mean by gross? Were the pancakes gross or what was gross there? All right. Maybe they were, but they sold a lot of pancakes if they were gross. Okay. Number 11. Let's see, there we go. Solve the formula for the specified variable. V equals 1/3 pi r squared h and solve it for h. So we need to get rid of everything on the right-hand side except the h. If we multiply both sides by 3, we'll have 3v equals pi r squared h, because the 1/3 and the 3 would reduce down to 1/1. Then we'll divide both sides by pi r squared. So h equals 3v over pi r squared. Now, you've got to be careful to use the same capital or lowercase letters. So h is going to be, let's see here, we've got a fraction. So the numerator is going to be 3. That's a capital V, I do believe. Okay. Over, let's see, pi. And where is pi? Well, let's see here. Functions.
I think it's symbols.
Symbols, there it is. Pi, and then r squared. So I think we put in the r and then that, the 2. So 3v over pi r squared. Let's see what happens. And again, be careful that you look at the same tense and everything. Boy, that time left is sure annoying, isn't it? The way it keeps popping down there. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, if I could change that, I would. Number 12, solve the formula for the specified variable. D equals capital C minus little s over little n and solve it for little s. Okay, so I'm going to multiply both sides by little n, which gives me n d equals c minus s. Okay. Oh, let's see, what am I going to do now? There's a couple of different things I could do. I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to add s to both sides. S equals, oops, not s equals, s plus nd equals c. And then I'm going to subtract nd. So I get little s equals capital C minus n capital D. Little s equals capital C minus n capital D. There you go. All right. Number 13. Any questions before I go on? Got,
No.
sorry, I just want to make sure you have having enough time to write things down if you want to. Solve the formula for the specified variable. P equals AB over C. Solve it for C. I'll multiply both sides by C. And I get CP equals AB. Divide both sides by P. Little c equals AB over, and I do believe that is a capital P. So fraction AB, lowercase ab over capital P.
I think it's a small p.
You think so?
Yeah.
Ha!
Oh, maybe not.
Take that. I know, it's tricky. And whenever I'm correcting tests, I look at everybody's problems that they missed to see, and something like that, if you had a lowercase p and it marked it wrong, I would give you credit for it.
Okay.
Because I'm such a nice guy, right? Okay, here we go. No response to that, I see. Okay, 14. The perimeter of a regular singles tennis court is 210 feet. Okay, so we've got this tennis court length, width, and the perimeter is 210 feet. So that's all the way around. So that's what, 2 lengths plus 2 widths. The length is 57 feet less than 5 times the width. So the length is being compared to the width. If the width is X, the length is 57 feet less than 5 times the width. So if the width is X, the length is 5X minus 57, okay? Well, perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So 210 for the perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So 210 equals 10X minus 114 plus 2X. Combining like terms, let's see here, negative 114 plus 12X. Okay, we'll add 114 to both sides. 324 equals 12X. Divide by 12. X equals, let's see, 324 divided by 12 is 27. So the width is 27 feet. The length is 5 times 27 minus 57. Let's see, times 5 minus 57 is 78 feet. So the width is 27 feet and the length is 78 feet. Okay, number 15 coming up. To make pickles, fresh cucumbers are soaked in a salt solution called brine. How many liters of a 4% brine solution must be added to 16 liters of a 10% brine solution to dilute it to an 8% solution? All right, so this is a mixture problem. And with mixture problems, I like to do this. So we're going to take the first vial from the second vial and mix them together into the third. So let's see, what do we got? How many liters of 4% brine? So this is 4% brine. How many liters of it must be added to 16 liters of a 10% brine to dilute it to an 8% solution? Now, if I've got X liters plus 16 liters, the mixture is going to be X plus 16 liters. All right, any question about what I did there? Okay, so our equation becomes 0.04x plus 0.10 times 16 equals 0.08 times x plus 16. And let's see. If I want to get rid of the decimals, I'll multiply both sides by 100. and I'll get 100 times 0.04x plus 100 times 0.10 times 16 equals 100 times 0.08 times x plus 16. Notice I'm not distributing here. I'm just multiplying three numbers together, or three factors. So 100 times 0.04x would be 4x plus 100 times 0.10 would be 10 times 16 would be 160. 100 times 0.08 would be 8 times x plus 16, which would be 8x plus, let's see, 80 and 48 is 128. Okay, so here's our equation without the decimals. Let's see, I'll subtract 8x from both sides. Negative 4x plus 160 equals 128. Subtract 160 from both sides. Negative 4x equals negative, what is that, 32. Okay, divide by negative 4, x equals 8. So how many liters of 4% solution? 8 liters. All righty. Number 16. Part of $13,700 is invested 9% annual interest, and the rest is invested at 8%. After 1 year, the account's paid $1,155 in interest. How much was invested at the lower rate? Let's see here. So simple interest, I equals P times R times T. And we've got part and the rest. Okay. Part of $13,750. So part, let's call that X, at 9%. And the rest is invested at 8% after 1 year. So time is 1 year. Okay. Now we've got $13,750. If we invest part of it, which we're going to call X, what do we have left to invest the other place? We've got $13,750 minus X. That's going to be invested at 8% for 1 year. Okay. After 1 year, the account's paid $1,155 in interest. So this is going to be what, $1,155. Okay. The interest for the part would be X times 0.09 times 1, which is 0.09X. Okay. The interest for the rest would be 13,750 minus X times 0.08 times 1, which is 0.08 times 13,750 minus X. So what do we get? Our equation is this plus that equals that. Any questions how I got that? Okay, let's again multiply by 100 to get rid of the decimals. So I've got 100 times 0.09x plus 100 times 0.08 times 13,750 minus x equals 1,155 times 100. 100 times 0.09x would be 9x. 100 times 0.08 would be 8. So I get 8 times that. And over here, 115500. Distributing the 8, 9x plus, let's see here. 8 times 13,750 is 110,000. minus 8x equals 115500. Combining like terms, x plus 110,000 equals 115,500. Oops. Subtract 110,000 from both sides, x equals $5,500. Let's see, how much was invested at the lower rate? The lower rate was this one, all right? It's the rest. So that would be 13,750 minus 5,500. 13,750 minus 5,500. 8,250. Well, let's see. I know I'm going kind of fast here to make sure I get everything done, but haste makes waste. 5,250. That's the lower rate. Yeah. Okay. Number 17. Solve the inequality, write the solution set in interval notation and graph it. Negative 8x minus 38 less than or equal to 2. So I'm going to add 38 to both sides of the inequality, which gives me negative 8x less than or equal to 40. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 8. But because I divided by a negative number, I changed the direction of the inequality sign. Remember, if you multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, you change the direction of the inequality. So I want x greater than or equal to negative 5. So it's going to look like that. So it looks like that one right there. Oh, then I'm supposed to graph it. So I need a bracket at negative 5 and then arrow going to the right. Let's see here. Select. Oh, how do I get an arrow? And this is where if I'd been practicing WAMAP or WebAssign, excuse me, I'd know. Oh, how about this? There we go. Okay. All righty, let's see, how many more problems have we got here? 3. Okay, we're gonna make it just fine. Okay. You know what I think I'd do if I was taking this test and this timer kept dropping down? I think I'd put a sticky note over it. I suppose it's a good thing to let you know how much time there is, but that's just going to increase anxiety, isn't it? Yeah.
I just ignored it.
Yeah, I suppose I would. This is the first time I've ever done it this way where the thing keeps popping up. All right, solve the inequality, write the solution set in interval notation. Negative 14 less than or equal to 2 times the quantity x plus 1 less than 12. So the first thing we're going to do is simplify the inside, distributing the 2. Now I've got 3 parts, both ends in the middle, and I need to get x in the middle. Anything I do to the middle or to either end, I have to do to all 3. So I get negative 16 less than or equal to 2x less than 10. Okay, divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Whoops, extra number there. Negative 8 less than or equal to x less than 5. So interval notation, that's going to look like that. So let's see here. I think I can use the brackets on the computer. Negative 8 comma 5 like that. And then negative 8 and 5. And then what was it? Draw. That should do it. Okay, 19 coming up. Solve the inequality, write the solution set in interval notation. We have the word and, which means intersection. So we've got 3x greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 5 and 9 greater than or equal to 4x minus 2. So solving the first inequality, adding 2x to both sides, 5x greater than or equal to 5, divide by 5x greater than or equal to 1. Solving the second inequality, we'll add 2 to both sides, 11 greater than or equal to 4x, divide both sides by 4, 11 fourths greater than or equal to x, but that's the same thing as x less than or equal to 11 fourths. Okay, I want to have it so that x is on the left. And means intersection. Well, x greater than or equal to 1 would look like this. You'd have a bracket at 1 and an arrow going to the right. X less than or equal to 11 fourths. You'd have, let's see here, 11 fourths is almost 3. So 1, 2, 3. So right about in here would be 11 fourths. And that's going to be bracket and arrow going to the left, but we want the intersection. So that's going to be from 1 to 11 fourths with brackets on both ends. So bracket 1 comma space 11 fourths and then bracket. Whoops, something went wrong there. Let's see here. Oh, I guess I need to move the thing out and then, okay. One of the things I hear over and over excuses from students is they'll send me their work and they'll say, I typed in the wrong thing. Well, look at what you typed before you submit it. Okay, yeah, anyway. Let's see, so from 1, I need a bracket at 1. And then 11 fourths is 2 3/4. So there's 2 1/2, 2 3/4 is right about there.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it gets a little tricky. And then I need to fill in between. Let's see what it says. Okay. And finally,
It gave it to you.
yeah, and again, if it's super close, it takes it. And again, I look at it, and if you're close, I accept it. But if you're way off, it's like you got to pay attention to the scale. Details, yes. Details. I know. Solve the inequality. -1 less than x minus 1 over 3 less than 5. I'm going to multiply everybody by 3 to clear the fraction.
Mm-hmm.
So I get -3 less than x minus 1 less than 15. Add 1, add 1, add 1, -2 less than x less than 16. So parentheses, -2, 16, close parentheses. And let's see here. Parentheses, -2, comma, space 16, close parentheses. Okay. And then, let's see, parentheses at negative. Here's a typical case, and I wish they wouldn't do this, but you got to pay attention. So between here and here is 5 units, but it's broken up into 4 equal parts. Wow. So each part is 1.25. Okay. So I need -2. So right here would be 2.5. So it's right, let's see here, 1.25. And then, yeah, so right about there. And again, I say about 16, same thing here. This is 15. This is not 16. This is 16.25.
Yes.
And as I say, if you're close, I'll give it to you, even if WebAssign marked it wrong. But you got to pay attention to details. All right, we
Nice.
made it with 9 minutes to spare. So I will be back this afternoon at 1:15 with an office hour. Tomorrow, I intend to do the same thing with chapter 3, unless you have something you want me to do otherwise, Karina. Or if somebody emails me certain problems they want me to do, I'll do those. And then when that's done, I'll work on this. But anyway, have a great rest of the day. And I'll stop the recording and I will see you later.